I'm
crazy
painting a
is,
picture here.
oh,
And this is limited, right? No, you're fine. This is just a small sample. But this
sure.
really has been universally, this offseason has been this acclaim for the Lions. It's been in not necessarily, no, nobody thinks the Lions are Super Bowl contenders, but everyone is talking about this team as a team that should flirt with 500, if not be a fringe playoff team. And that's wow. And then you look at Vegas, and there are 6.5 wins.
Yep.
And generally, Vegas, especially win totals, you err toward the middle, right? It's hard to win less than 4 games in a season, just as an example. So if the really bad teams, their win totals get pushed toward the middle. Same with the really good teams. Like, you're not going to see many win totals like 13 games. So realistically, Vegas thinks the Lions are a 5 or 6 win team this year. And yet the media thinks that they're like a 7, 8, 9, 10 win team this year. I would say like 8 and 9 is the median, would be my guess. Maybe 9 and 8. People think the Lions are going to make this huge jump. AJ, did enough change for us to make this large of a jump? Or are you looking in? Listen, Vegas knows, all right? Vegas absolutely knows. Forget the media.
See, I don't. To go back to your original point, I don't know how to feel about this because I'm thinking that one, either hell has frozen over, the world has flipped upside down, or I'm in some kind of twilight zone where reality as I knew it no longer exists. Because I cannot for the life of me remember a time in my years of existence, and I will not say how many it is, the Lions being spoken of favorably. And it's not like they're being spoken of in a way that's this is the team to put your money on to win the Super Bowl, because that would be a losing proposition. But when you're talking about words like surprising, sleeper, national media pundits drinking the Honolulu blue Kool-Aid, using our own terms, that's a big deal. And it's crazy it almost feels like uncomfortable in a way. Because if those expectations aren't met, then it's same old Lions. Then it is what it is. It's just Detroit. We didn't really expect them to do well. You asked if I think enough has changed. I can't answer that yet. The reason why I can't answer that yet is because everything about 2022 is speculation. And I understand that's a cop-out answer. But I will say the one thing that I'm grateful hasn't changed, and I think will make a difference, is Dan Campbell. I will root for him. I will continue to root for him. I expect him to get better as a head coach and a game manager and things of that nature. And I expect this team to be, at minimum, 6.5 wins. And I've told you that. I said that on our last show. I had them at 8 wins, maybe plus or minus 1. Just because I like what they've done. Again, going back to our draft talk, not necessarily thrilled with every move that they've made, but it seems like the right pieces are being put in place. Now, will they continue to put those right pieces in place, or will they continue to hold on to older pieces, a la number 16? That will make the difference of whether the conversation continues to be favorable towards the Detroit Lions in the years to come or not. Do you think enough has changed?
We just did our win totals last week, and I had the Lions at 6 and 11. So obviously, I am siding much closer to Vegas than I am the media. This is not a win total that I would bet. If fans were going to bet it, they're clearly going to pound the over. We have seen the pulse of the fans. We have seen the pulse of the people. They absolutely think this team is going to be over that 6-win threshold. I have not talked to many people outside of our little group that actually thinks the Lions are going to win like less than 6 games or even 6 games. Most people think they're going to be over that mark. which I think is being optimistic, which there's nothing wrong with it, especially as fans, to be optimistic. This is a team you root for. If you go into every season thinking you're going to win 4 or 5 games, that's a miserable experience, even if you're right. And listen, I know being a Lions fan has at times been a very miserable experience, but I don't blame the people that have a little bit of optimism. Hope springs eternal for a reason. But you said it's a cop-out because you said, I don't know yet. It's hard to see. There's so many changes, so many moving parts. This team is young. And I don't think that's a cop-out at all because we're not in the business, especially on this show, Beyond the Box, of just making hot takes, of judging things on very limited sample sizes or giant projections, because this team theoretically should have a pretty wide range of outcomes just based on the unknowns. It reminds me of last year's college football season with the in-state programs, both Michigan and Michigan State, that there was so much new for both teams. You really didn't know how they were going to be. Like you had an expectation, but there was so many moving parts, especially coming off the COVID season, that you're like, I don't know what's going to happen. That's how I feel about this season to an extent. But at the same time, I look at, we still have Dan Campbell, who should grow a little bit. He was a rookie head coach last year, but Dan Campbell and now our tight ends coach, who's been elevated, they're going to call the plays together. Well, I wasn't impressed with the play calling last year, and we didn't bring in a new play caller. So I don't think that's changing in a positive way. That's still a concern. We know how we feel about Jared Goff. And that's one place where I think we're in lockstep with most fans. There is a section of fans out there, the extra optimistic ones, that look at the end of the season, that look at, Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl. There's a small but somewhat vocal section of fans that actually think Jared Goff can be an above average quarterback in the NFL, which I think is a starter. And I think that's just berserk. That's crazy. Jared Goff has not changed. We still have the same guy under center. He's not very good. He's not going to elevate this team. What can change? The offensive line can stay healthy and actually be a strength of this team. We did add Jameson Williams, and while I didn't like the pick, and we also added DJ Chark in free agency, I didn't like the pick, and while I don't think receiver is the most impactful position in the NFL, we had a pretty bad receiving unit last year. This is not great. And he's going to catch passes. As soon as he gets healthy, which could be at the earlier end of the season, we really don't know, more of the unknown that you talked about. But when he gets healthier, he is going to be good. I told you, I think by the end of the season, he should ascend to the number 1 receiver in this pass catching group. TJ Hawkinson is a piece that, of course, I like very much. So if you combine that with the O-line, DeAndre Swift continue to improve, right? He's a solid running back. You would think that we had first-time play caller last year in Dan Campbell. It wasn't the plan. He took over play calling duties halfway through the season, say. He should grow into that role. They should be able to install more of the offense that he wants to see. Having more playmakers on offense should help them have more of a diverse offense. Having that healthier offensive line should let them dial up more downfield passes, more play action. You hope. But this is a lot of hope. And things have to improve. But then you look at the defensive side. Bottom of the league in sacks. Pretty much bottom of the league in pressure rate if we weren't bottom of the league. Worst by a wide margin in third down defense getting off the field. The defense was horrible. Look at games like the Ravens, where we were in position to win the game. But was it 4th and 20? Was it 4th and 20?
It was.
It was 4th and 20. We got at least a sack, maybe consecutive sacks. We had them in 4th and 20, and our defense didn't get off the field. They just didn't get off the field. And they gave up a bomb, the only thing that could get the Ravens even close enough to even think about kicking a field goal, and then they hit the biggest, longest walk-off field goal ever in NFL history because they got Justin Tucker. How much did our defense improve this offseason?
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what?